If you've ever taken a class with me or sung in my choir, you'll have heard me say, guess what? It's time for story time with the Cantor. So guess what? Story time with the Cantor. Here's the story. My parents divorced when I was 11 years old. And my mom and my older brother and my younger brother and I moved from Southern California to Northern California. My sister went off to college that same year, so she didn't need to move houses. She didn't move, I guess. And even though it was my family's tradition to be the ones who hosted Seder every year for aunts and uncles and my grandparents, we stopped after we moved. And it was not that we didn't have Seder, we just went to a friend's house, one of my mom's dear friends who lived in the South Bay, every year. And the one notable thing I remember about that Seder is that my mom's friends' sons had CompuServe, which was like AOL before AOL existed. It was like a way to access the internet. Yeah, I know, deep cut for the nerds in the room who are like me going, this is amazing. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, what is a chat room and how do I get to one? And then eventually spent many of my high school years on AOL. But we didn't host Seder at our house until I was 15. And that year, for no reason that I really recall, I said to my mom, I think we should host a Seder. And my mom, in her inimitable way, said, all right, you lead it. And I said, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about a Seder. She's like, well, you want to have it, you can lead it. Now, upon reflection, 30 years later, my mother must have done an enormous amount of work for all the Seder stuff. Like, it's not like I planned a meal. It's not like I went and bought matzah from the store. But, like, I know we had a Seder. We had glasses of wine. We had matzah. We had all the things. We had a Seder plate, all those things. And so she must have done an enormous amount of work. But I remember feeling a little bit like, oh, dear Lord, what do I do to lead a Seder? So what did I do? I grabbed the blue Maxwell House Haggadot, all 30 of them that I'd grown up with. We had maybe, I don't know, a dozen people perhaps. And I turned to the first page and I went, okay, it says light the candles. Mom, can you light the candles? And then I read something. And then I went, I don't know what's coming. And I just flipped. And I went, oh, it's Manish Shana. Okay, so I know this one. I'm going to sing Manish Shana because my younger brother, I think with my family, we always made the youngest person in the room really had to sing it, like on the spot. But I don't think as I recall, he didn't know it. So we sang Manish Shana, me and him, or me, I don't know. And I just flipped pages until I found something, and then we sang it, and then we were done. That Seder took 15 minutes, start to finish. My mom's now husband, then boyfriend, had brought his children to the Seder, who had never been to probably anything Jewish, honestly, in their lives, certainly not a Seder. I was 15, so his daughter would have been probably 14. Heard that we were supposed to have 4 cups of wine, had never had wine before and didn't really think about it, so drank 4 full cups of wine. Let's go back a second. The Seder was 15 minutes long. So before dinner started, she was throwing up in the bathroom. And the story goes, she doesn't drink alcohol, I think, to this day. It was a memorable first Seder. It was also the first in a long run of me leading Seders. First for my immediate family, eventually, briefly at Hillel, no one came. And then when I met my wife, and then we had our own home, and we hosted Seders in our home, and to this day, we've always hosted Seders. A lot of you will know the answer to this question. It's not a trick question. Name the number 1 most observed Jewish holiday in America. If you had to guess, Devorah, I'm pointing at you. If you had to guess which holiday more Jews did at home or anywhere, right, of all the Jewish holidays, what would you guess would be the number 1? Well, I know you know the answer. I know, I put you on the spot. It's not Hanukkah. You would think Hanukkah, right? We would all think Hanukkah. It's Passover. I know you all know that. I know, but I had to set it up a little. And this week, right? This week is Passover. And so this week, more Jews will do that Passover thing than will light candles on Hanukkah or go to services on Rosh Hashanah. And that is kind of exceptional, considering we talk about Rosh Hashanah as the Super Bowl of Jewish holidays. The day that even if you don't really care about the rest of the games, that's the one you watch. You know, not everyone goes to the same extent. Not everyone hosts a Seder. Not everyone keeps kosher for Passover. That's okay. But there's a lot to do almost in any instance. So while you're at a Seder, or maybe you're koshering your kitchen, maybe you're munching on some matzah, what you won't be thinking about, hopefully, is, this is not an exhaustive list, the war in Iran, government corruption, social media addiction, inflation, cost of gas, the loneliness epidemic. I'll just stop there. Those are all the things I will hopefully not be thinking of while eating my matzah. But I actually don't think it's just me ignoring the world around me. It's not just a distraction. I actually think Passover is, in fact, the solution. I think Passover is actually the solution to worrying about all of those things and any other things that you may be worried about. Let's talk about a Seder. What's a Seder? A Seder is a gathering in a home, usually. It's a meal, you've got to eat. There's some ritual readings. There's some songs. There's moments of reflection. There are moments of introspection. There are questions, and there are answers. And there's wine. As the great philosopher Homer Simpson once said, and I'm paraphrasing, alcohol is the source of and solution to all of life's problems. No, not for kids, though, you know. No, it was a joke anyways. It was a joke, I swear. We're not going to quote a philosopher named Homer Simpson. All right. No, these things, though, these elements of a Seder are actually the cures. These are the cures. Not to what ails the world, but to what ails us. Fun fact about singing. You might imagine I do a lot of it, and you would be correct. Non-stop, and I have since I was a young child, I sang everywhere. Indoors, outdoors, when people were paying attention, when people weren't paying attention, on my way to school, in the backyard, in the front yard, all the time. Nothing is different. But fun fact about singing, not alone but together with other people. Did you know that when you sing with other people, your heartbeats align? Ooh. Did you know that when you sing together, your brain waves align? And when you sing together, your breathing aligns. Okay, now, when we talk about creating unity in the world and building peace, how remarkable that one thing that singing with other people does is literally unify you in your mind and in your heart and in your body. Breathing, I mean, I know this sounds silly, is actually really good for you. And not just any breathing, breathing as we teach singers. Breathing, as we say, into your abdomen, taking good, calming, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. It's actually a technique that we teach singers. And that kind of breathing is calming, it is grounding, and it is healing. There is a story of a guy who was dying of tuberculosis. He got tuberculosis, and he believes he cured himself through breathing. Now, I'll share the email with you, a fantastic scholarly article about it, but I don't have proof. But a scholar that I know and love named Ted Gioia, who writes all about music, says it's possible that this guy, when his entire family died of a very contagious disease, and he survived, it's because he taught himself to breathe really well and practiced it constantly. I know, if only. So if you happen to be feeling stressed, you should go sing with some people, like at the Seder. Do you spend too much time on social media? I will not take a show of hands. Oh, wow. Volunteer, though. Does brain rot got you down? You should read instead of scroll. Cal Newport, who's an author who wrote the book Deep Work. And the book Deep Work is about how we accomplish deep thinking and tasks. Setting aside time is really what his solution is to thinking through big problems and solving them at work. He argues in an op-ed that actually was published today in the New York Times that one of the symptoms of, or the problems with social media use and doom scrolling is that it makes your brain weak. It actually weakens your ability to think clearly and to use your brain. And what does he say you should do instead? You should read. And you should put your phone down somewhere else while you read. That even having a phone in the room in which you are reading can be enough to distract you from being able to focus on the book. He doesn't say it has to be a history of France, although I am reading a history of France and it's pretty good. It doesn't have to be anything. Just read. Just pick up a book and read. What's remarkable? What do we do at Seder? We read. We take a moment, we put our phones away, and we read. Do you ever feel like maybe after you've been scrolling on the internet or on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook that the world is full of terrible people? Remind yourself of your values. What is the cure for feeling like the world is all terrible people? Finding within yourself a reminder of what you value. You can push back on the feeling and the fear that the world is all terrible people by reminding yourself and reflecting on your Jewish values. One value I might choose to highlight, the one mentioned in the Torah more than any others: you shall welcome the poor and the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. That's the story we tell at Seder. A reminder of what we believe and why we believe it. Some of our most closely held values. Some of those people you may think are terrible are probably bots and not people, or they're people writing things to just be terrible because they get paid to. That's a thing. But you can't stop them. You could worry about them, but it won't help. Instead, what you should do is find your own grounding. Find your own values. Maybe you get angry at some of the terrible people you read about on X or Facebook or Threads. Here's what you do. Find a sense of humility in your life, because those people are not talking to you or about you. They're just what's known in the industry as trolls. They live under bridges and they scare you. But they're not real and they don't matter. They're not talking to you and they're not talking about you. Even when they're talking about you, they're not really talking about you. What is our solution to that in our tradition? Matzah. Matzah is actually our gift to the world at Passover. Matzah we call the bread of affliction or the bread of poverty. And that is what we invite people over to share. Because when it really comes down to it, not everyone has stuff. Not everyone has money to share or to donate or the ability to give freely. But what do we have? We got bread. Unleavened bread. Bland bread. And you know what? We share it freely and with love. Because it doesn't really matter the stuff that we have, and it doesn't really matter what's happening on Instagram or the comments people leave or the comments people don't leave. What we have is humility. We find a space to remember we're just people and we're just living our lives best we can. Do you feel lonely or disconnected? Do you ever feel like the bots are getting you down? Invite some friends over. Have a meal. Just like at Seder. Be present with them. Listen to their stories. Let them share their challenges and their traumas, just like we do at Seder. Passover and the rituals of Passover bear a striking similarity to techniques used by psychologists today to help people with PTSD. Retelling a traumatic tale and reframing it, and finding value and meaning in a difficult time without letting go of how bad it was. That's pretty cool for something we invented 2,000 years ago. We take the parsley and we dip it in salt water. And look, I like that a lot. I mean, I really like the parsley in the salt water. But it's to remind us of tears. It's not meant to be great. It's not that flavorful. I mean, it's salty. And yet, we dip it, we eat it, and we go, this actually matters because we have an obligation as Jews to try to make the world better because we've been oppressed. We have been beaten down. We have tried to fight for freedom for ourselves. We have tried to find good in the world. So if you feel disconnected and lonely, as we all do from time to time, find some people and bring them to your house and eat some food with them. They can be matzah. It's okay. By the way, FaceTime is not the same. Now, look, sometimes that's all we got. My parents, they all live in California. If I want to talk to my parents, I got to FaceTime them. That's okay. But if you can, invite them over. Invite the people over. Come to your house. Meet them for coffee. Go to Starbucks. Meet them in a park. It's free. That is what Seder teaches us. Do you feel like the world is chaotic? I feel like the world is a little chaotic. What does Judaism tell you to do? Build a ritual into your life, like the Seder. What is a ritual, after all? A ritual is two pieces. One, do a thing regularly, which is to say, on a fixed schedule. Seder comes once a year. I'm not saying it has to be a daily thing. It could be a weekly thing. But find a thing to do and then understand why that thing matters to you. Give it meaning. Brushing your teeth isn't necessarily a ritual, even though, hopefully, you do it every day. It has to have some broader meaning. It can be a ritual. It can be a ritual that reminds you of how important it is to take care of your body and how important it is to be healthy and to try to extend your lifespan for the people that depend on you. It could mean that for you, but it doesn't just because you did it every day. If you're looking for a ritual and you're like, I don't know, what's my ritual going to be? I have a suggestion. Go volunteer. Find a place that needs skills that you can offer or time or strength that you can offer, and then go once a month, every month. Or once a week if you can, or every other week, or whatever regular schedule matters for you, and do it because it matters that you make the world better. That's just one suggestion. You can do anything you want. Are you stressed out by materialism? You notice that the list of things that you might be worried about is quite long? That's kind of how I feel right now. That's my week. What can I say? Are you stressed out by keeping up with the Joneses? Do you wish you had more stuff? Or cooler stuff, or stuff that other people has, and maybe stuff that works. Consider Dayenu. Dayenu. It would have been enough. If we had only made it out of Egypt, Dayenu. If we had only crossed the Red Sea, Dayenu. If we had only made it across the Red Sea, sang a song or two, and had our matzah, Dayenu. How amazingly powerful is that silly song? And that's a song, by the way, in my family. We run around and whip each other with green onions. That's what we do during that song. It's the most fun you'll ever have in your life, by the way. I see you laughing. But during the chorus, we whip each other like taskmasters. But how amazing is the cultivation of gratitude through that song? to say like, okay, what do I have in my life? Not what do I lack, not what do I want, but what do I actually have? Every day that you're breathing is a win. Dayenu. I'm breathing and I got a place to live. Dayenu. I'm breathing, I have a place to live, and I got a family that loves me. Dayenu. Am I good at this? I am not good at this. This is my struggle in life. And yet, at the Seder, here's our solution. My point being, I don't want Passover this year, for all of you gathered here, all of you watching at home. I don't want Passover to be one night of meaning and ritual and song and connection. I want it to be the gift that keeps on giving. I want it to be something that we can take with us into our year, because things are going to be tough. They just always are. Sometimes a little tougher, sometimes a little less so. But Passover is our key. Shabbat shalom.